Hello everyone, welcome to the online session of Manu Law Classes. My name is Brijesh and I am the English faculty at Manu Law Classes. In today's session, we are going to discuss about why do some CLAT and AILET aspirants struggle in English section while others don't. Before I begin, I would like to share a simple story with you. You might know the name of, you of course know the name of Mr. Usain Bolt, okay? आप सबने इनका नाम सुना होगा और आप जानते होंगे कि ये दुनिया के सबसे फास्ट स्प्रिंटर्स में से एक है. So एक घटना इनके साथ की मैं आपको बताता हूँ. Once somebody asked his manager कि जो आपके बॉस हैं, he just ran for 11 and 12 minutes. केवल उन्होंने 11 और 12 मिनट ही दौड़े होंगे और वो दुनिया के सबसे फास्ट स्प्रिंटर्स में से एक है. तो उनके मैनेजर ने बहुत ही सुंदरता से जवाब देते हुए कहा कि सर, वो 1 मिनट की रनिंग के लिए 10 किलोमीटर की रनिंग करते हैं. तो इस स्टोरी से हमें क्या पता चला कि जो क्लैट और एलेट की प्रिपरेशन आप कर रहे हैं, that is a game of 2 hours and within 2 hours you have to solve 150 questions. So you can relate this story. आप इसे इस तरह से समझ सकते हो कि जिस तरह किसी लंबी रेस को दौड़ने के लिए या 1 मिनट की रेस को दौड़ने के लिए आपको प्रायर प्रैक्टिस की जरूरत होती है, the same way इस क्लैट प्रिपरेशन में भी आपको लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस की जरूरत होती है. So in today's session I'm going to share with you 10 points which some quitters and some winners do. Okay, basically we are going to distinguish between why some students struggle, on the other hand others do not struggle in English section. Point number 1, knowledge of the syllabus. सबसे पहले ये जानने की जरूरत होती है, whenever you are set to go somewhere you need to know कि आपको पढ़ना क्या है. The first thing you need to know is your syllabus. If your syllabus is handy and it is on the tip of your fingers, you will not be able to be distracted, and also at the same time you will be able to focus more. And आपको ये पता चलता है कि आपको वास्तव में पढ़ना क्या चाहिए. So I have previously discussed this thing in my previous videos too. Let us break down our syllabus. What is our syllabus? जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि हमारा जो CLAT का syllabus है, especially English का जो syllabus है, वो 3 भागों में बटा हुआ है. One is reading comprehension, another is grammar, and the third is vocabulary. अगर आपका इन तीनों पे अच्छा कमांड है, if you have good command over these 3, nobody can stop you to ace in English section. ऑलराइट, सो सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन और इसमें किस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. जैसा कि आप स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हो, in reading comprehension generally the question is based upon vocabulary. So from the passage itself there will be a tough word or a high frequency word that examiners can take in a question and they can ask you the meaning of the same. It can be in the form of synonyms, it can be in the form of antonym as well. There will be another question based upon must be true. इस तरह के questions में क्या होता है कि without reading and understanding all the passage you will not be able to solve this question. क्यों? क्योंकि until and unless आपने समझा ही नहीं है कि पूछा क्या जा रहा है, what are they going to ask you. What must be true means कि you have been given a situation and you have been asked a question based upon the situation. So until and unless you have understood that situation, you will not be able to do that question well. Third type of question is inference based question. These questions are also kind of thing that you have to understand the passage, otherwise you will not be able to answer that quickly. In inference-based question, generally the questions are, what do you think? Why is that? So basically these questions are based upon whys. That is, they start with whys. And then there are some questions which are factual. In factual questions, they are fact. Okay, they have been explicitly mentioned in the passage that you have to go through the passage. आपने passage को पढ़ा, समझा और उसका उत्तर दे दिया. That's it. There will be another type of question that is main idea or central idea or theme of the passage. Very rare, but इसमें से question पूछा जा सकता है. Let's say there is a passage and they have asked you, after going through the passage, they have asked you what should be the main idea according to you. So, and the last type of question in reading comprehension can be tone recognizing or identifying the tone of the passage. Basically, the extracts are from some novel or some news or somewhere where the author has talked about something or has narrated something or has critically explained something. So the tones can be recognized by reading the passage well. All right. your another breakdown, that is grammar section. In grammar section, what you have to study, you can take a screenshot of this slide and you can paste this in front of your study board, study table. Basically, from the grammar section, the most important topic is subject verb agreement. In subject verb agreement, what happens? There are a lot of rules in subject verb agreement, but still there are some chosen one that you can only understand when you go through the previous year paper. And the questions will be from parts of speech, sentence improvement, parajumbles, and tenses, voice, narration, close test, figures of speech. Figures of speech basically have been introduced in AILET 2018 and 2019. And also in CLAT 2020, there were two passages. They asked question from the figures of speech. So this makes figures of speech very important because you have to know the meaning of figures of speech. And a new trend also has come of introducing some punctuation based question. AILET prefers to ask these kind of questions. So punctuation cannot also be considered less. You have to give equal importance to all the topics that have been mentioned in the grammar section. Let's go ahead. Moving on to the next slide. Vocabulary. The third breakdown of your syllabus is vocabulary. The first one was reading comprehension that we discussed in thorough. And then you have grammar that already discussed. And now we are going to talk about vocabulary. So under vocabulary, what kind of vocabulary do you need? See, at Google, if you type high frequency word, you will get a lot of words from CLAT, from GRE, from different kind of exams. So you can take that and start learning 10 words every day or 20 words every day, and make sure that you are, while learning word meanings, you are making sentences out of that, so that you will be able to understand the contextual meaning of the particular word. Ensure that these words can be observed from the Hindu newspaper as well. जब आप newspaper पढ़ते हो, then also start noting down some words, some meanings which are important. All right. Next is synonyms, antonyms. You should have readily available a list of synonym and antonym and keep going through them. Then there is another important topic, that is analogy. Analogy is basically a study of comparison something. Okay, so there will be some words that you have to compare, that can be find the odd one out, which is not related to these groups and all these kind of. Analogy में क्या होता है? Basically दो शब्द को compare किया जाता है, दो या चार शब्द को रख के they make a pair and then they ask you to compare them and choose the correct one. And then you have one word substitution, idiom and phrases, foreign words, spelling mistakes, fill in the blanks, match the column, mania and phobia. So basically this mania and phobia are the list. Basically they talk about the hobbies, the likes and dislikes of a person. So what you have to do basically is to keep these lists ready before you, because in vocab section you have to work upon a lot while reading newspaper, and have a high frequency word list with you, so that it will be very easy for you to memorize those words day to day. All right, so these are some list of topics which are asked in the vocabulary section. If you keep going through them, your vocabulary as well as your sentence making power will increase a lot. Okay, so point number 2. So previously we discussed about point number 1, and we discussed about the breakdown of our syllabus. So once you know the breakdown of the syllabus, you will not struggle in the English section, I guarantee. And then point number 2 में क्या होता है? Basically, there is a general phenomena, general myth, that why do we read newspaper? Why we read newspaper when there are shortcuts available? What do I mean by shortcuts? Shortcuts are basically some apps which tell you the news in a brief, but those shortcuts are for person who do not have time. Let's say somebody is office going and he doesn't have a lot of time to read newspaper, but at your age you cannot neglect reading newspaper. Okay, you cannot neglect reading newspaper. आपको newspaper पढ़ना ही पढ़ना है, and make sure that while reading newspaper, आपके पास एक copy होना चाहिए, and you start noting down words which you find difficult. Okay, so there is no shortcut to reading comprehension or to reading the newspaper. There are apps readily available for you. They are shortcuts, but do not go to them. Just take a newspaper. That should be The Hindu or the Indian Express. You can have The Hindu has good editorial, which has a lot of good words that can be important for your exam perspective. Moving on to next slide, that is point number 3. There are some students who do not take English section seriously. इसके पीछे सिंपल सा रीजन ये हो सकता है कि they have come from an English school जहां पर इंग्लिश को बहुत ही ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस दिया गया है, and they are quite frequent in speaking English. They are fluent in English speaking as well. They can talk a lot, they can give a stage presentation, they can basically solve any question. But the thing is, when you come to competitive examination, you have to understand the value of English section because they are going to test you under a time pressure. Okay, so you cannot tend to think that कि मैं अच्छे English school से हूँ, मुझे English पढ़ने की क्या जरूरत है? Why do I need to read English? Because I can solve any question easily. But I'm telling you, dear, you need to understand the importance of English section seriously. Otherwise, you are gonna make a lot of mistakes in this section because examiners को पहले से ही पता होता है कि आपकी English preparation अच्छी है and उस हिसाब से वो questions को पूछते हैं. All right. So with that point, I would like to convey that they never take English section lightly. क्योंकि इंग्लिश सेक्शन ना केवल इंग्लिश सेक्शन में मदद करता है बल्कि ये मदद करता है अदर सेक्शंस में भी. बिकॉज इफ यू आर नॉट गुड एट वोकैबुलरी, इफ यू आर नॉट गुड एट अंडरस्टैंडिंग अ पैसेज, देन हाउ वुड यू बी एबल टू डू LA passages? How would you be able to do reasoning passages? How would you be able to do GK passages? Because आप उसके just को ही नहीं समझ पाओगे. You will not be able to understand the just what they are going to convey. So that's why English is called game changer. If you have good command over English, you will understand whole paper and start answering. That is why English is called the game changer. अगर आपके पास अच्छी English की command है, you will be very easily able to understand the passage of all kind and answer it accordingly. Moving to the next slide, which is point number 4, it says studying from the correct source. What happens, dear? Some of the students do not know what is the correct source. So for us, for MLCNs who are studying with us, we provide them readily available kit wherein they can have a lot of passages for practice, lot of grammar concept, list of vocabulary and all those things. अगर आप दूसरे कोचिंग में पढ़ते हो तो वहां के मटेरियल में भी बहुत सारे चीजें होती हैं, that is a good source. But there are some students जिन्हें यही नहीं पता होता है कि हमें पढ़ना कहाँ से चाहिए और वो स्टार्ट कर देते हैं पढ़ना ऐसे चीजों को जो कि उनके एग्जाम में रेलेवेंट नहीं है. जैसे कि हम एग्जांपल लेते हैं, कुछ लोग स्टार्ट कर देते हैं रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना, लेट्स से टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया, एंड कुछ लोग द हिंदू ही पढ़ते हैं. लेट्स से दे आर रीडिंग द हिंदू बट दे आर ओनली फोकस्ड अबाउट द न्यूज व्हिच आर अराउंड, लाइक how many accidents has taken place, how many these kind of bad kind of activities has taken place in society and all those things. But you have to first recognize what points are important to be read in newspaper. इसके लिए गौतम सर ने बहुत ही अच्छा वीडियो बनाया हुआ है जीके पे, हाउ टू रीड न्यूज़पेपर एंड व्हाट टू रीड इन न्यूज़पेपर. सो यू कैन रेफर टू दैट वीडियो एज वेल. द मेन पॉइंट ऑफ सेइंग दैट स्टडीइंग फ्रॉम द करेक्ट sources is that choose wisely. Whenever you are going to set your preparation, you are set to start your preparation, choose wisely कि आप क्या पढ़ने जा रहे हो. With this point, I would like to say that you must choose wisely what you are going to study throughout. Okay, moving on to the next slide, that is point number 5. It talks about don't bother going through previous year questions. So there are students I have seen, they say, sir, when the question have already been asked in an examination before, why should I go to them? Why should I go through them? I should not waste my time there. But I'm telling you the truth कि अगर आपने प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस को गो थ्रू नहीं किया, यू विल हैव नो आइडिया कि किस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आपसे पूछे जाएंगे एंड यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू प्रिपेयर अकॉर्डिंगली. सो इसलिए मैं सजेस्ट करता हूं आपको 5 इयर्स के पेपर को अच्छे से गो थ्रू कर लेना चाहिए. If you have 10 years paper, that's well and good. If you have 5 years paper, that is well and good. We at Manu Law Classes, we provide a solution of all the 11-year questions from 2010 to 2020 so that you will not have any problem understanding what kind of questions are there. So make sure that you must go through previous year question. If you are watching the video, I would say that I urge you, go through the previous year questions. All right, moving on to the next slide, that is point number 6. It basically talks about managing time strains while solving the section. The very important thing that you need to practice is managing time strains. What is time strains? Basically, as you know that you are under pressure. You have been given 2 hours to solve 150 questions. So question ये आता है कि आप time management सीखोगे कैसे? Have a timer on in your mobile phone. Every mobile phone has a stopwatch. You can start the stopwatch and start solving the reading comprehension. और जैसे ही आप एक रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन को सॉल्व करते हो, यू कैन सी दैट हाउ मच डिड इट टेक यू टू सॉल्व दैट रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, एंड इस तरह से आपकी प्रिपरेशन बहुत ही अच्छी हो सकती है. सो इन दैट वे यू विल आल्सो बी एबल टू लर्न हाउ टू मैनेज टाइम स्ट्रेन्स. This will not only help you in English section, but also it will help you in other sections as well. Having a stopwatch with you in your mobile phone on will help you. Okay, moving on to the next slide, that is point number 7. It says not attempting mocks and their analysis. As the topic suggests, what are we discussing today? हम इस बात पे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि कुछ स्टूडेंट्स के लिए क्लैट के इंग्लिश सेक्शन बहुत ही आसान होते हैं जिसमें वो स्ट्रगल नहीं करते. कुछ स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है. मुश्किल क्यों है? Why is it hard? Because they do not solve mocks. So अगर आप मॉक्स को सॉल्व नहीं करोगे, what are mocks? First ask yourself, what is a mock test? Mock test is like an exam like situation कि जिसमें अगर आप फेल भी होते हो ना, so you are not ultimately failing the real exam. If you are failing in mock, you have time to analyze your mistakes. Okay, so not only attempting mocks is important, but also analyzing your mistakes, what part you made a mistake. Okay, so if you are not attempting any mock, so mocks can be available anywhere in your, if you're studying from any coaching, you will be given a mock test if you're studying. And if you are a student of MLC, you very well know that how many mocks we provide and also how dedicated analysis sessions are given in Manu Law classes. Okay, so I would say that do not underestimate the importance of mock test and start taking mock test. आपको 2 मॉक टेस्ट मंथ में जरूर करना चाहिए, एज वेल एज उनके एनालिसिस को भी जरूर करना चाहिए. All right, moving on to the next slide, that is point number 8. It says about unpremeditated study schedule. Okay, so once what happened, I was listening to Shri APJ Abdul Kalam and he mentioned कि जो बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति होता है वो अपने दिनचर्या को the next day का schedule जो है he prepares at the night before going to bed. So I would urge you, when you are going to bed at night, first introspect कि आपने क्या किया दिन भर, and after that make a note कि आप कल सुबह से शाम तक क्या करने जाओगे. इसका बेनिफिट ये मिलेगा आपको कि as soon as you get up in the morning, you have an agenda that you have set कि you have to start studying this thing. Okay, in that way you will not be scratching your head कि oh no, कहाँ से शुरू करूं. Basically, when you have a ready to-do list for the next day, the very early morning, the very next morning when you get up, you start to study what you have planned for. In that way you are saving each and every minute of your time. All right, moving on to the next slide, that is point number 9. It is not making notes on vocabulary. So some people think कि I have better command of vocabulary and I do not need to make a list of vocabulary, and that is where you are making mistake, I would say. So never underestimate the making notes. So from the very first day when you sit to study a newspaper, you should have a diary available wherein you are maintaining all the important vocabulary which you are finding in the newspaper. Okay, so in that way, at the end of the month, let's say you are collecting 10 words every day, and at the end of the month you will have 300 words available for you. That will be sufficient for a month. Okay, in that way you will have good command over vocabulary and you will not struggle in English section as well in other sections too. So moving on to the next slide, which is point number 10. It says not able to avoid distractions which result in procrastination. As you know that procrastination is a very bad thing. So आपको करना क्या है? You have to make sure that you are following up with a proper breakdown of time. Make sure you are putting your phones and other distractions somewhere else, and in that way you will be able to focus on what you have to do. Okay, क्योंकि मान लो आपने पढ़ना शुरू किया and somebody called you and you got distracted, and with not only in reading comprehension but in other sections also you need proper focus, and if you are not focused you will do a study at that time, but after that you will forget what you studied. So it is recommended that put your distractions away and start focusing and never procrastinate. देखो क्या होता है, अपने आप को एक चैलेंज दो कि आज मुझे इतने देर तक पढ़ना है एंड ये चीज मुझे आज कवर कर लेना है. So as soon as you give challenge to your mind and your mind takes it very seriously, and in that way it enables you to finish that task that you have sought after. So students, those who struggle in English section, you should be focused on all the points which I have discussed throughout, and then realize where you stand and start your preparation from that point itself. So let us talk about some of our flagship courses, which is 1-year program, that is weekdays. इसमें वो बच्चे पढ़ सकते हैं those who are in 12th or they have just finished their 12th or they are retakers, they can go opt for 1-year program. And then you have weekend program. This is only for those who are currently in 12th class. They have to focus on their study curriculum. At the same time, they have to prepare for exam. And then you have 2-year program that is ideal for students who just passed their 10th and they are in 11th, and they have dedicated 2 years for preparation. And we basically provide these classes on weekends so that your studies should go hand in hand. The next one is 45 days crash course program. ये ideal है उन बच्चों के लिए जो अभी 2021 में एग्जाम देना चाहते हैं. And also we have DULLB dedicated crash course. उसके लिए भी आप इंक्वायरी कर सकते हैं हमारे टीम को. आप हमें कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं हमारे वेबसाइट lawentranceindia.com. आप उस पे जाके अपनी क्वेरी पूछ सकते हैं. You can ask your queries there and you can ask your doubts. You can talk to our team. You can email us at info@manulawclasses.com, and you can call us on the provided number. We are always ready to help you as soon as you have a desire that you have to go in law field. Thank you so much everybody for watching this video till the last. And if you have any queries regarding course or any doubts, we are there. We are happy to help you all the time. Thank you so much.